Jessica and Brian seemed to have it all: a beautiful home in the suburbs, two energetic children, and a picture-perfect marriage that many envied. Jessica was the quintessential mom, balancing her part-time job and family commitments with grace. Brian, a successful businessman, worked long hours but always made it a point to come home for dinner, even if it meant arriving late. Despite their seemingly perfect life, cracks began to appear. Jessica felt increasingly isolated as Brian became absorbed in his work, leaving her to manage the household and their children alone. Late nights at the office became more frequent, and the couple's conversations dwindled to logistical discussions about the kids. One evening, while organizing the garage, Jessica stumbled upon an old journal from their early years of marriage. As she flipped through the pages, nostalgia washed over her, reminding her of the passion they once shared. Determined to reignite that spark, she planned a romantic evening for Brian, complete with candles and his favorite meal. But when Brian called to say he'd be late yet again, Jessica's heart sank. A few days later, while helping her son with his homework, she overheard a conversation between him and a friend. They were discussing a new female colleague of Brian's who seemed to have captured his attention. Intrigued and concerned, Jessica decided to investigate further. She discovered that Brian had been texting this woman during work hours and had even gone out for drinks with her after work on multiple occasions. The realization hit Jessica like a freight train. The man she loved was not just absent, he was emotionally involved with someone else. Fueled by heartbreak and anger, she decided to confront Brian that evening. When Brian arrived home, Jessica was waiting with a heavy heart and a determined spirit. She laid out the evidence before him: the texts, the late nights, the missed calls. Brian's face turned pale as the truth unfolded. Initially, he denied everything, claiming that he was simply working late and had nothing to hide. But when Jessica showed him the messages, his facade crumbled. "I didn't mean for this to happen, Jess," he said, tears brimming in his eyes. "It was just supposed to be a friendship. I never wanted to hurt you." Jessica felt a mix of betrayal and sorrow. "A friendship? You've made her more important than our family. Do you even know what you've done to us?" As they argued, they both began to realize how far they had drifted from each other. Brian explained how he felt overwhelmed by work pressure, using the affair as an escape from the stress. Jessica opened up about her feelings of loneliness and neglect, admitting she had thought about reaching out for help but didn't know how. In the following days, they both grappled with their emotions. They agreed to attend couples therapy, hoping to understand the root of their issues and whether there was a path forward. Therapy sessions revealed deep-seated fears and uncommunicated feelings on both sides, forcing them to confront not only the affair but the neglect that had allowed it to happen. Slowly, they began to rebuild their trust. Brian made a concerted effort to be present, both physically and emotionally. He started coming home on time, planning family activities, and re-engaging with Jessica. Jessica, in turn, began to express her needs more openly, sharing her feelings without fear of judgment. Months passed, and while the road to recovery was long and fraught with challenges, they found themselves slowly healing. Brian ended the affair completely and cut ties with the colleague. Jessica discovered her own strength and learned to advocate for her needs within their relationship. Their marriage transformed from an illusion of perfection into something real and fragile, built on renewed honesty and vulnerability. Though the scar of betrayal remained, it became a reminder of the work they had done to restore their relationship. They learned to appreciate the little moments together, to cherish their family, and to communicate openly. As they celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary, they looked back at their journey with a sense of gratitude. They understood that perfection was unattainable, but love, despite its flaws, was worth fighting for. Jessica and Brian stood together, ready to face whatever came next, knowing they had emerged stronger from the storm.